Welcome back for another edition of the Worst Case Scenario podcast, and we are celebrating the Hoosiers 2025-26 National Championships. I'm your host, Bill, and with me are my boys, Bennett. Say what up, Bennett.
Hoosiers!
And with us is D'Lo. Say what up, D'Lo.
What up?
Oh, we got lots to talk about with the Hoosiers. How do you guys feel about that game last night?
That's awesome.
Started off. Yeah,
sure.
It was fucking. It was phenomenal, man.
Man, it's still unbelievable, is it not, that Indiana is the national championships in college football, of all things. This is something we talked about 3 years in a row now. Everybody wants to talk about the SEC. Paul Feinbaum wants to be on the SEC 3 years in a row. Michigan, Ohio State, and now Indiana. Big Ten is the reigning and defending champions in college football. And I know the SEC hates it, but I love it. I love it. Watching last night as they took the picks up on the panel, everybody took Miami except for Pat McAfee, of course. I love that. The way that they came out and played. Bennett, go ahead and tell me your thoughts on the game last night with IU getting the national championship.
I thought it was excellent, man. I thought that they did what they basically did all year. There were some stumbles throughout the third quarter, I felt, but they still handled business, guys. Mendoza, he did what he did. Like I said, they kind of stumbled. What was that, about the third quarter when they were staking those sacks and stuff? But he's going to stay true to who he is. Like we brought up on the last podcast, that guy is very mature for his age. And I think we brought up about his physical skills and how he was talking about if he comes out of college, he's not one of the best quarterbacks physically. Man, you make up for that when you're mature like he is. You're going to make your practices serious. You're going to prep your game prep, all that stuff. You're going to take serious. And you seen it last night. That's what that was. Hats off to Miami. I really didn't think it was going to be that close. But, it's the Hoosiers are the Hoosiers, man. That's what they've done all year. That's what they've done since going back to last year. They handle business. They get the job done,
I agree. Before these last two seasons, Indiana had lost 715 college games. Technically, I guess now Northwestern has surpassed them as the most losingest college team in college football history. But that is amazing. The 2-year turnaround, what they did last night in what did that game? And that game was so close. I mean, I was nervous about it. I really was, because even though I said Miami, I didn't think Miami deserved to be there because I believed that Notre Dame deserved to be there. I didn't care that Miami beat Notre Dame. A lot of changed over the 11 games that were played after they played and the different ways that they went. But Miami brought it last night. They showed that they deserved to be there, and I didn't have a problem with it. And I just felt, man, like there was nothing that was going to stop them Hoosiers, man. Like they only the second team ever to finish 16-0 in college football. And the last team to do it, you got to go back to 1897 when Yale football went 16-0. Those are the only.
It's 94. I think it's 1894.
Yeah, something like that. But that's impressive. And you would think that a team that would do that would be, like an SEC team or an Ohio State, something like that, a powerhouse like USC was. But to find out that it's the Hoosiers, man, it's just insane. Dila, tell us what you thought about that game last night.
Signetti said it best after the Peach Bowl win. He said this is going to make a hell of a movie, because it really is. I mean, Mendoza going for he went full circle, man. I mean, he tried to walk on at Miami, and they told him, no, we don't want you. He ends up going to UCLA, playing a backup role. I think he got a little bit of time in last year, and then he transfers to Indiana, and he ends up winning a national championship, beating Miami, the team that told him no, he couldn't walk on. He was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. Nothing spectacular. I mean, But the kid raised the Heisman Trophy this year, and now he raised the national championship trophy. It's a story that you couldn't write any better. But yeah, it's one of those things. You just said something about Northwestern. It's crazy because they actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but they had a good season a couple years ago under that Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And then they just went back to being a shit team or whatever. But I think they ended up firing him for some kind of, I think he was banging a chick on campus or something.
Oh,
But let's talk about this. With the Hoosiers winning the national championship, they have to reload. They got talent, some that's going to go to the NFL, some are graduating. And what we just talked about while we were waiting to go live was Alberto Mendoza entering the draft portal, not the draft portal, leaving the college football portal to leave IU. What's your opinion on Alberto deciding to leave?
I'm not shocked. It has nothing to do with who he is, his last name. It has nothing to do with the program. You're going to see this. You're going to see this from top names. You're going to see this from bottom names. You're going to see this from small schools going to big schools. You're going to see this from big schools going to smaller schools so they can get starting positions. I mean, that's why this is set up for that. I mean, that's what the portal is. So as far as players transferring, I won't be surprised by any of it. Probably not from here on out, really.
I agree. Dila, what's your opinion on Mendoza, on Alberto, a little brother?
Yeah, it's like Bennett said. He's probably hoping that a little bit smaller program will grab him and he can come in and be a starter, which would be awesome, man, because he's only a sophomore. He's only going into a sophomore season. So he's got at least 3 more years of eligibility, maybe 4. I mean, the kid could come out and make some noise and end up transferring again to a bigger school. And you never know. You might be able to see his name in the fucking big lights here in a couple years or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, like Bennett said, I mean, especially with the way that Signetti recruits, he doesn't recruit out of high school a lot. So, a lot of his recruiting's out of the transfer portal. And so, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be upperclassmen coming in from the transfer portal that are going to be, hiring you, and they're probably going to be getting paid more than you. And chances are they're going to come in and bump you as a starter. I'm sure that Mendoza wanted to start next year for Indiana, and I'm sure that Signetti probably even told Fernando, like, we'll see what he's got and we'll give him a fair shot at it. But once they got that kid out of TCU, I believe that they pretty much sealed his fate.
Well, yeah, Josh Hoover is who you're talking about from TCU. I feel like Alberto would have stayed if Mendoza came back next year for his senior year, which he's not declared. He has not declared for the NFL draft, though we all assume that he's going to. I feel like he didn't mind playing or sitting 2 years behind his brother. His stats weren't bad. He completed 75% of his passes. He had 6 touchdowns when he came in for relief for his brother this year. They're saying that he's going to get a chance. He could go to, what was it? They said Duke, Georgia Tech, and I think maybe NC State, North Carolina State, that he could probably go there and start as a sophomore. But it's just so weird that we hear Indiana now is like not that his brother wasn't good enough, but kind of, we got that mindset where, hey, we're champions. Like, this is a championship caliber program, and he just wasn't good enough right now for Indiana University. He's not his brother. I don't know much about Josh Hooper. We're going to find out the stats that he's put up over 31 career starts, and that's something that Signetti likes. He likes a proven starter to come into his program. He's not going to roll with somebody that's only got minimal playing time. He's going to reload that every time. I guarantee you, every time he's there, and he loses a quarterback like he did with Warwick. He brought Warwick in with Warwick playing at the University of Miami of Ohio. The guy had so many starts. He came in, he lit it up last year. Then he turns around and goes back out and finds Mendoza from Cal. who had so many starts. And look, Cincinnati has a huge hand in why Fernando is the Heisman Trophy winner, why he's that good. It is a huge part of that is Kurt Cincinnati. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. I would have liked to have kept Alberto and seen what he had when he's a junior, and a senior definitely. But it's just crazy when you see some talent leave because they're not going to be good enough because the Hoosiers' expectations are higher than they've ever been. What do you think?
Well, that's correct.
Go ahead, Eli.
Well, it's crazy, man, because it's like, we were just saying, man, that you'll probably see a lot of, if there's any freshman or sophomore on the team right now, you'll probably see a few of them enter the portal because that's just not how Cincinnati's system is set up, man. It's set up for them upperclassmen to come in and start, whether they're coming out of the portal or not, dude. Juniors and seniors are going to start. I mean, that's usually how it is on college football teams anyway. But, every now and then you see a freshman or a sophomore slip through the cracks. But I don't see that happening in Sig's system, man. I think he really likes those veteran players that got the experience, and he'll lean on them 9 times out of 10 in that situation. And with this Alberto situation, this is kind of proving it.
Well, they have until Indiana and Miami players have until Friday, the 24th.
So I got a question, though. What happens if nobody claims Alberto off the transfer portal, or he doesn't agree to anything? Can he come back to Indiana?
He can play anywhere he wants to. He's just putting in that he's looking at leaving, and so he would have to end up signing. For some players, they take a chance on entering the portal, and sometimes players don't
end up coming back. Yeah.
So, like I said, I liked in the small sample size that we saw with Alberto, I liked it. But with what Cincinnati's done and what he's transformed Indiana into, Alberto wasn't going to start right now. It just wasn't going to happen. So
no.
It's all right. But hey, let's turn our attention to some NFL action that we had over this weekend with the NFL playoffs, man. And unfortunately, man, your Bears, they lost. They did lose. But, man, you guys got to be happy about the future in Chicago with your Bears. What do you think, Bennett?
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy. It was heartbreaking. But at the end of the night, I wasn't throwing anything. I wasn't trying to break any TVs or anything like that. I was happy with the outcome. Not only am I happy with how quick the turnaround was, but for you to come into that game, even if you were at home, but being a Bears fan, you dread, even when you are decent, you dread when you get in those high-profile moments against, is another good team. You're just dreading that you just don't get your ass kicked and you get embarrassed. That way everybody can point the finger at you and say, I told you you're not that good. Now, but, I mean, they showed up and they put up a fight and they didn't quit. It was a close game. As far as getting into the dynamics of it, I think it came down to experience with Ben Johnson. I think he did an excellent job, but there's a few things, it's just like in the season. He did some stuff in the season that was kind of questionable calls, like whether it was play calling or time of use of timeouts or whatever. But you're in a high-profile game like this. You did have the playoff game with Green Bay the week before, but pressure was definitely on. And there were a few things I think if you look back, he'd want to switch up. But, I mean, hats off to him. They had a good season. They proved that they deserved to be there. And the hopes are high again for next year. Next year, I'm telling you, nothing's guaranteed, as we've seen this year with the Bears, with people like the Patriots. Nothing's guaranteed. You got to go back in the offseason, not be happy with what you got, not settle, retool everything, and reevaluate, see where you are personnel-wise, coaching staff-wise. Every year is a different year. it's the same thing as when you get in the playoffs. They say it's a whole new season, and it is. But that's awesome from where we ended up, where we started last year, where we ended up this year. But there's no niche. You got to go back and redo it again. I mean, you just got to climb back up that hill again. But yeah, I was super. I was happy with how everything turned out. I mean, that throw at the end of regulation wasn't that fucking just wow.
Yeah. You guys took them to overtime. Like I said, on paper, I think when you looked on paper, most people said the Rams. We all chose the Bears. We all lost that. But you guys took them into overtime. The weather did play its part. Because I don't know. I don't know if this was played if it was played in LA, would the score have been that close? Like, I mean, I don't know. But the Bears, I didn't know if the Bears were for real, but man, they really came on towards the end of the season. They really came out, they played their asses off, man. And like I said, you got to be happy if you're a Chicago Bear fan with the future, with how the organization is set up. Because I'm not sold on Caleb Williams, or I wasn't so much sold on him. But seeing the way he played, man, he really came through. And then your defense, man. But D'Lo, how'd you feel about your Bears, man, playing Sunday night?
Like Bennett said, man, nothing but excitement going into next season. I mean, it's definitely disappointing when your team loses, but there's nothing to. It looks like breaking news. Alberto just signed at Georgia Tech.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, nothing to be ashamed of for this season, man. It's disappointing because you want your team to go on and continue to play, but there was a lot of really good things that I'm sure Bennett picked up on as well during that game. How Dennis Allen switched up his defensive game plan, man, and he was in Stafford's face all game long, man. That's why Stafford struggled, man, because they made sure he didn't sit comfortably in that pocket all game long, man. And the few times that he was able to sit back there, that's when he was able to pick us apart. But it for us to go into the offseason, I'm sure Dennis Allen's going to have a say in some of the defensive players that we bring in so they can fit his system a little better and things like that. And like Bennett said, we got an offensive minded coach. So me and Bennett were talking about it the other day on the phone. We can almost guarantee that Ben Johnson's probably going to want to get a few offensive players out of this draft and shit like that. So, we're going to have to balance the free agency and the draft and all that shit. But the expectations are set, man. I mean, you can't go backwards from here, and you can't get complacent. You can't, it just mine's on the prize at all times. As far as it goes next season, we didn't do shit this season. You know what I mean? It was cool to go to the playoffs, but really in the end, what did you accomplish? Nothing. You want to go win the Super Bowl. And we showed that we got a team that can compete with anybody, but next year, everybody should be just as focused and just as determined to go out and repeat, if not better, what we did this year.
I agree. Well, let's look at some other action that we had, man. We had the Patriots beating the Texans 28-16. Bennett, you flopped over the last second with me when we did these picks last week. You joined on with me with the Patriots. I think, man, they look good with that tough Houston defense, and Houston defense brought it. But that weather, just like in Chicago, man, it played in effect like we said it would, man. But the Patriots got it done. It didn't help the way C.J. Stroud played, and we talked about that too. We said the weakness was going to be C.J. Stroud for them Texans. Like, that defense showed up and was giving it all, man. But when Stroud throws 4 interceptions, what are you going to do, man? What's your thoughts on the Texans Patriots game, Bennett?
I think I liked all the games this week except for the Niners and the Seahawks, but this was an exciting game. Some sloppy football on both sides of the ball, sloppy. And Stroud really stood out. I'm telling you, it really looked probably about midway through the second quarter and then on into the second half. But it looked like he was just lost. And the Patriots came with a good game plan against him, but it just looked like the game was moving too fast for him. Like it just, I know he made the mistakes with the interceptions and then the fumbles and stuff like that. The Patriots and the Texans were playing really good defense against each other. I mean, you got to look. New England didn't have a perfect game. They turned the ball over plenty of times too, but they just couldn't. You know what? If the Texans maybe would have played game management with Stroud running the ball, it might have been a different outcome because the Patriots played some sloppy ball too. You could see the inexperience. But I think sucks to put this on the guy, but at the end of the day, I think it all does go on Stroud. And you got to look at, I mean, this guy was a second overall pick. What's the future hold? Is he the guy for you? Because he sure didn't look like it in this game.
I agree. D'Lo, you want to? What's your thoughts on the Texans and the Patriots game?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Here's a little something for you. I'm pretty sure Bennett didn't Caleb throw 4 interceptions, or did he throw 3?
I believe 3.
Okay, well, Caleb threw 3 interceptions, and nobody's really talking about the 3 interceptions because he played so well. After the Texans game, that's all everybody was talking about with Stroud, with the Texans, was how Stroud, like Bennett said, he looked lost out there, dude. He's seeing ghosts. He's throwing at receivers that are not there. He's fucking, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think that this kid was as good as he was his rookie season, and he has regressed so bad.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think he could, like I said, he looked lost, but I don't think he could even get the protection right. That was why he was getting a lot of the pressures on him.
Yeah.
I don't even seen the pressure coming, so he wasn't checking into the right pass pro to be in the right situation anyway to even give himself a chance. Like there was something there, like he regressed, something he was missing. He looked worse than a rookie. He looked like he was playing. He was at a collegiate level playing in the pros. It was bad. Like he just couldn't get the protection down even.
Yeah, and as you guys know, Jacob, my nephew, he's a huge Texans fan, and he was telling me all game he was blaming the offensive coordinator. He said that the offensive coordinator just basically tries to make it too complex for CJ Stroud and things like that. And I'm like, that's what pro football is, man. You don't.
There's no such thing in pro football as being too complex. You're a pro. You're a professional. This is what you do for a job. This is all you've worked your life for up to this point. There's no such thing as being too complex. I truly believe that in the NFL, there's no such thing as being too complicated. That's what you get paid to do.
Yeah.
So Stroud did not look good. He was 20 for 47 for 212.
Well, his second half stats were a little better than his first half. I don't think he ended up throwing a pick in the second half. He threw all 4 picks in the first half. Here's the deal, man. D'Amico Ryans and their GM down there in Houston, they've got to be on the hot seat, dude. This team is in win now mode. So if you come out into the training camp and Stroud doesn't look the way he needs to look in the offseason, you've got to figure out something quick, man. Like Davis Mills isn't going to be the guy that's going to lead you to the promised line. But this team is built to win. Their defense is stout. Their fucking run game looked good, even with Chubb coming off an injury and all that shit. Their run game still looked good. They got Nico Collins on the outside. They got weapons there, man. The one thing that's holding them back is Stroud, and they've got to figure that out, man. Like I said, with Jacob being a huge Texans fan, he wants to see them go after somebody like Burrow, but then lies the problem, man. You're setting your team back because you got to, number one, you got to take on that massive salary because Stroud's still on a rookie deal. And number two, you got to trade those picks away. And so if any of your free agents leave, you've got to replace them in the free agent market rather than in the draft. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals.
I don't think you need someone as good as I don't think you need someone as good as Burrow. With that defense, I would go more offensive line. I go get me somebody that's a game manager. Lean on the run game. That defense could have won him that game. Like I said, the Patriots turned the ball over too. That defense could have won that game with field goals. They put themselves in scoring positions. They put the Patriots in scoring positions with those bad turnovers. You don't turn the ball over on your side of the field. The Patriots ain't moving the ball that much on you. That defense, they were stout. You just needed to hand the ball, make some third down conversions, rely on your run game. That's why I said build the offensive line, make sure that defense stays where it's at. And you could have won that game just like that. No turnovers. Lean on the run game, stay away from the penalties, and let the Patriots come beat you. That's what I see. And another thing, Dilo, that you brought up, the reason why about the Caleb Williams interceptions and the Stroud interceptions. Interceptions, I know look, guys, it's just a stat. When you want to go back and judge your quarterback, don't judge it off those stats. Go back and look at those interceptions. Was that interception Stroud's fault or Williams' fault? I mean, where Williams threw an interception on fourth down. He's done that quite often recently. When you throw an interception on fourth down, if it's not in your red zone or their red zone, I mean, especially if you're heaving it downfield, that's like a punt. That's not a bad thing. It's better than throwing the ball out of bounds. It's better than taking a sack. It's not a bad thing throwing an interception on fourth down. If a ball gets tipped, if your receiver gets his hands on it and don't make the catch, or a defender tips the ball, I mean, that's not always on that quarterback either. But Stroud threw some really bad interceptions, like right into the teeth of the defense that he shouldn't have been throwing, because he wasn't reading the defense. The pressure was too much, and the coverages he wasn't seeing quick enough. So that's what you're going to get.
Well, let's move on and talk about the game that was not close on the weekend. The Seahawks pounding down on the 49ers defense, 41-6. I think we all chose the Seahawks on this, and it wasn't close from the get-go. I did see today that the Titans signed the 49ers defensive coach, Robert Saleh, the former Jet coach, to be their new head coach in Tennessee. So, but this game was not pretty. Sam Darnold coming out, playing the way he did. That defense coming out, playing the way they did, man. Seahawks lost their running back, though, for the rest of the playoffs.
Charbonnet.
They still got Walker, but, man, they look dominant as can be. The Seahawks did, man, and I got to say, probably right now they're the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl right now, to win this week and make it. D'Lo, what do you think about this game, the Seahawks and 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I said it before the games that I wanted the Niners to win. So in case we won, that they would be coming to Chicago. But because I knew going to Seattle was going to be a tough game, man. But they're playing good, man. They're firing on all cylinders. Their run game's working. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold got a hell of a connection going on right now. Their defense is playing good. They look really good, man. Now, can they sustain it? They got 2 more games to go, and can they sustain it? I mean, when they go up against probably the Patriots in the Super Bowl, will Sam Darnold fold, or will he be able to? Will he be that guy? You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Sam Darnold's stats from this game, they weren't the craziest. 12%.
Did he have 200 yards?
24 yards. 1 touchdown.
124 yards.
Yeah. That's insane, but they ran for 175 yards on the ground, and the defense played the way they did, man. Sam didn't have to do much. It was like Sanchez back with the Jets. They're just like, don't turn the ball over. Hand it off, let the defense, hand off the running back, let the defense do their thing. That's pretty much what Seattle did with that win. Go ahead and tell us your thoughts on the game.
Well, the opening kickoff, return for a touchdown. That place is that's a tough place to play anyway. But when he returned that kick, that place just erupted, and it didn't calm down. It did not calm down. That makes it so much harder. And it also took the wind out of the 49ers right from the jump.
Yep.
I don't think that they had, and I think Saleh's an excellent defensive mind. I think Shanahan's a genius. They just didn't have an answer. They lost the momentum right from the start, and they never got it back. And the way Seahawks, as I call it, what they did to them is that's why Darnold didn't have to do much. The Seahawks just played volleyball. You know, they played defense hard. They put pressure. They closed down the run game. They were hitting people, getting turnovers. McCaffrey went out due to injury. You know, they were banging him up. And that run game, even with Charbonnet going out, they looked unstoppable. I know the 49ers got a lot of injuries on defense. Saleh was able to plug all those leaks throughout the season, and I mean, they just couldn't overcome the Seahawks. The Seahawks and that 12th man up there. That was like I said, that's the only game this week that didn't look competitive at all. Just looked one-sided. Even though the Texans played poorly on offense, their defense kept them in that game the whole time. But there wasn't a shot for the 49ers at all. And I don't know if there would have been, if that game would have went that way against any other team. I don't know if anybody would have had a shot, to tell you the truth, because that's, like I said, it's a tough place to play. And they, all three phases, special team, defense, offense, they had it rolling.
No, I agree, man. The last game that we had this week was the Broncos edging out in overtime 33-30 over Buffalo. It sent Buffalo crazy that they actually fired their coach, which Bennett. Somebody had made a comment. I thought it was Bennett, but somebody had made a comment about McDermott not being that great of a head coach. I don't know which one of it you guys said it last week, but it's the Broncos now. They have to go into the AFC Championship game against New England without their quarterback. Jared Stidham's going to start. It's an amazing win for the Broncos, but man, I think that they're going to lose to the Patriots. I mean, I do. D'Lo, what's your thought about the Broncos-Bills game?
I think that this game with the Broncos-Bills is honestly going to our Broncos-Patriots. I think it's going to look a lot like the Patriots-Texans game, man. The Broncos got a very formidable defense, and their biggest problem this week is going to be not having a quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, I fully expect that the Patriots are going to probably pull it out, but I think that the Broncos defense keeps it close.
Bennett, what's your thoughts on the Bills-Broncos game?
I mean, you've seen it. It crushed Josh Allen. It got the head coach fired, as it should have. I mean, you put other head coaches with Josh Allen, you might have squeezed a little bit more out of it. He's a phenomenal player. I don't think that they put everything together, though, around Josh Allen that they need to. He can win some games by himself, but, I mean, is that what you really want to do? You want to rely on one guy all the time? Not really. But you've seen that this week. Like, the run game wasn't hitting. The defense was falling short when it counted. You know, they might have made some stops on first and second down, but third down they struggled. Fourth down they struggled in the red zone.
I think where this team's lacking is at the receiver position, man, and probably the offensive line. I mean, they got a good running back in James Cook. They got he got shut down because they had a game plan, and their offensive line is not that bad, but he got shut down due to the game plan and maybe the receivers.
I know people don't give the receivers a lot of credit. I mean, I think if anything, that with the receivers, I think it's more of a lack of separation, maybe some route running, which goes back to maybe some play calling. You got to scheme some stuff up. Like, you can have terrible receivers, but if you're scheming the play up, you know what I mean, with some rub plays or pick plays, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get some separation, and you just didn't see a lot of it. And that goes back to the coaching, to where if your receivers are weak, don't rely on a simple game plan where you're just running routes and letting Josh Allen try to play backyard football out there and use his instincts and hoping the receivers are going to run, go off the script with him. You got to scheme some stuff up. And I just think Buffalo is I think it's a poorly coached team from top to bottom. I really do. And I think that's what hindered them this year. And that's why they lost some games this year that they probably shouldn't have in the first place. And that's why they lost this game.
And somebody's going to go out there and sign Sean McDermott to a big deal. They're probably going to give him a 5-year deal, and it's going to be a mistake because he's not. Bennett's right. He's not as great a coach as when Dayball left that organization took a step back, and then they started to bounce back with Joe Brady. And then now they've all been fired, but I don't think that McDermott's a guy that's going to come in and change the franchise around.
No. Well, let's go right into picking this week's games, boys. Let's go. We'll go right with the Broncos and Patriots, man. It's going to be in Denver. I don't know what the weather's going to look like, but I don't think it really matters, man. Both teams are sitting at 14-3. But, man, I really think that the Patriots are going to go in there. Mayo, they're going back to the Super Bowl first time since 2018, in my opinion, man. And I think that the Patriots win this game. What do you think, Bennett? Who are you taking here, Patriots or Broncos?
Well, I mean, the obvious is right there. It's right there in front of us. They don't have Knicks. They're playing a quarterback hasn't thrown a pass, I believe they said, since 2023. He started 4 games total in the NFL. And as far as I'm concerned, they're very different teams, but very similar when you match them up with what they can do to each other. So then you're almost in, like with Bo Nix, you're into, say we have Bo Nix in it, hypothetically, Bo Nix is playing. You're into like a head-to-head game where it's going to come down to who's making least amount of mistakes, who's playing a clean game with penalties, and who gets the job done in the red zone. But now you don't have Bo Nix. You got a guy that's got 4 stars throwing football in 2 years and meaningful, like in a game-wise. But I'll tell you what. I like Grable a lot. And if they have the same success on defense as they did this last week, then boy, Denver's in. They're in for one. But here's the difference. On the other side of the ball, calling the plays is that old Sean Payton. And you can give him a back running back. They have a good offensive line. They have a solid run game if you scheme it. If you scheme it and you get this guy doing certain plays all week, if you're only targeting to throw 15 to 20 times, mainly worried about a third down conversion.
I don't mean to cut you off, but they just activated J.K. Dobbins off of the IR too.
Wow, that makes a huge difference. It don't make no difference from what I was getting ready to say, but that makes a huge difference, especially if he gets to play. Sure, he'll be rusty, but so we're going to go, we're in Denver, and I'm looking more Peyton versus Grable. Grable's a great coach. I'm going to go, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think whoever wins matters, really. And I don't care on the other side who wins. I think the NFC's got the Super Bowl this year, fellas. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Sean Payton figures out a way to eke this one out by 1 to 3 points.
Oh, shit. All right, D'Lo, who are you taking here? Patriots or the Broncos?
That's a crazy pick, man. You said the Broncos?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm going Patriots, but that's an awesome pick, man. And I could see it happening. Like I said, that defense, that run game, those two things, if they can get Dobbins in and going this week, that'd be huge, man. And it can make a major difference in this game. And it's going to be cold, which the cold ain't going to matter a bit to the Patriots because they're used to it. But I do think that.
But if there's snow, wind, or rain, like we just saw with the Patriots, they're going to mishandle that football as well.
Yeah, and I mean that thin air up there in Denver. I mean, I don't know. It could happen for sure, man. But I'm going Patriots.
Sure. If it goes any other way than how I just laid it out, if Stidman's had to throw more than 20 times at the game, then yeah, they're in for trouble. But I guarantee you that is not the game plan this week. Like I said, the past plays that they're going to pick are going to be probably 20 to 30 plays that he's just going to run back to back all week long. They're going to really rely on that run game and let that defense play some ball. And like I said, if anyone can do it, Sean Payton's smart. Like he understands the situation he's in. So he's not just going to go out there and say, "Hey, this is a regular game. If he says that, that's one thing. But that's not what's going into the game plan this week. He's way too smart of a coach to go in there and say, "Well, he's out and this guy's in. We're going to throw the whole playbook at him. We're just going to get it done." It's not what's happening.
Absolutely, I agree.
I think it will be a good game. I think it'll be a close game. But what I don't believe will be a close game is the Seahawks and the Rams. Like I said, the way that the Seahawks are playing right now, man, they're playing lights out. But like that defense, same as in Denver. But I don't know what it is about Seahawks and Ben. I think you got it right. It looks like the Seahawks are probably the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I don't think this game's going to be close. I think that the Seahawks, and they're playing for the third time this year, but I believe that the Seahawks just beat down on the Rams. I really do. And I think they punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. D'Lo, what do you think here on the Seahawks-Rams game?
This is another game, man. These teams are familiar with each other, and at any given moment, Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams and fucking Kyron Williams and all these guys they could just fucking break out and they could do phenomenal things. But like Bennett said earlier, man, playing up there in Seattle, it's one of the toughest places to play in the NFL, and that crowd's going to play in effect. I don't expect these quarterbacks to have over 225 yards passing, neither one of them. But I'm going with Seattle.
Yep. So, Bennett, who are you taking here? You taking Seahawks, taking the Rams?
First, D'Lo was the one that brought up Seattle, how he liked Seattle, and he thought it didn't matter who it was. Seattle won the Super Bowl this year. That wasn't me. That was D'Lo.
Okay.
I just want to give props to D'Lo for that. But this is an intriguing game. Seattle, they're both very talented. They're both well coached. The one thing, there's two things actually that stand out to me. The thing that we talked about last week, what kind of game will Darnold have? Well, I think Darnold, as we said, he doesn't care if he gets interceptions. He forgets about them as soon as he does. He's going to go back right there and play how he's going to want to play anyway. He's going to sling the ball around. I brought this up last week, and the Rams play to their opponent's potential. So if they play the Panthers, they're going to play poorly. You know what I mean? If they're playing someone like Seattle, they're probably going to have one of their better games. So with that being said, even seeing how, Chicago kept them in check on some stuff and put pressure on Stafford, which you can do. We talked about that. Stafford is a statue. He's probably going to be the MVP this year because, I mean, he's a statue in the pocket, but he gets the job done from that pocket. But with Seattle being at home, I'm gonna go with Seattle. But and that's you got to remember, Mike McDonald, like he don't have a lot of experience at coaching either. So McVay has the experience over there on his side. It's tough to go to Seattle, and talent wise, I think they match up pretty equally. But man, if you get Seattle rolling. Seattle, here's the X factor. The Rams special teams are pretty much on the bottom end of the NFL, and the Seahawks special teams are on the high end of the NFL. Let's see if that plays a part. But I'm gonna go with Seattle.
All right. Well, let's talk about this some head coaching changes in the NFL. Bennett, what do you think about the Dolphins hiring the Packers? Was it Hapley as their new head coach?
Defensive coordinator? Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on them going that way, looking into the Packers organization and hiring this guy? What do you know about this guy, and what do you think about the move for the Dolphins organization?
I don't know much about him besides playing him. They got more talk at the end of the year with the Packers defense. The Packers defense has been pretty solid, I'd say. They'd be anywhere from solid to really good since he was there. Now, I mean, is that him? Is that his players? Because when Parsons went down, the defense didn't look. Of course, you know your defense ain't gonna look as good when your superstar's out, but you got to be able to adjust for stuff like that. But I mean, he got some talk late in the year. We'll see what kind of a head coach he is, because down there in Miami, I don't think what they needed was a scheme guy so much as a culture builder. And maybe he is that. You know, it seems like I'm not saying that offensive coaches can't be that, but it seems more like defensive coaches usually lean toward culture builders. You know, they usually have a tougher attitude with their players and discipline and expect more out of like practices and stuff like that. But you never know. He's a first-time head coach, but I don't know why Miami did this for what they. I mean, he evidently had a great interview, but I mean, if I was Miami, I would have went a different route.
Do you not feel like it was a splashy enough candidate, or what? Which way would you have went, and why?
I would have went with something that was more proven, and something that was going to kind of write my program. I don't know. Thinking off the top of my head, I would have looked for Saleh. I know Saleh, you just said, went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Maybe even McCarthy, something that's going to put you on solid ground, even if it's just a transitional period, just to set that team. That team was a mess at the beginning of the year. McDaniel kind of righted it at the end where they came back. They was in the playoff hunt, really. McDaniel's more of a scheme guy, but you heard about like a lot of the players being late for practices, being late for meetings, wasn't held accountable. I mean, you need someone to come in there and say, I don't care if you are the superstar of this team. If you're not on the team, if you're not making it to the meeting on time, that means you're not being a good teammate, and you're going to get fined. You're going to set out a drive. You're going to set out a quarter. And if I'm setting you out a quarter and you still don't care, then what am I even doing with you on my team? You shouldn't be here. If you don't want to participate like everyone else, then you should not be here. And I think they needed someone. Harbaugh would have been a perfect fit. But of course that didn't happen. And maybe, like I said, maybe this guy's tough. Maybe he is a culture builder. But it was just, it's kind of out of left field that this guy just came out of nowhere, super quick like that, and just jumped in there and got a spot.
D'Lo, out of the 6 teams left to replace head coaches, what do you think is the best spot for some of these coaches that have been let go or whatever? I guess you would frame it as, what's the sexiest team to a head coach looking right now?
Left on the market, probably Buffalo, just because of Josh Allen. But I want to go back to that Miami hire, and I'm on the whole opposite side of Bennett on this shit. You know, Bennett said the dude probably had a good interview and all that. I think this is a hire that says if he comes out and bombs next year, it's not going to hurt to let him go and turn around and hire Mike Tomlin. I think this was all a means to get Mike Tomlin.
It was a ruse.
It was, bro. Yeah, they didn't want to go out and spend big money on Harbaugh when Mike Tomlin's going to be available next season. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like, do you feel like John Harbaugh is a little pissed because would he have rather had the job in Buffalo instead of?
I'm sure that
Giants. So
yeah, I'm sure that anybody that signed, you know, and then that job comes available, I'm sure that they're probably like, son of a bitch, that would have been a nice one to have. You know what I mean? But
they're opening a new stadium in Buffalo next year.
Harbaugh says
Allen, Cook.
Harbaugh says it came down to between Tennessee and New York, and he said that Jackson Dart is leaps and bounds above Cam Ward. So
wow,
that was a shot at the number 1 pick last year, right there. You know what I mean? So
wow. Yeah, I what do you feel about the Baltimore Ravens organization? Is that a top one where a lot of these coaches would want to go?
I tell you what, man. Lamar Jackson's a hard one to gauge, man. You know, the dude's got all the talent in the world, but he hasn't played well in the playoffs, and I don't know how the dude is behind closed doors. I don't know if he's like a Kyler Murray type that's just like, fuck this, I'm out the door. As soon as they lose a game, he don't want to be part of the team, whatever it may be. Or if the dude's like all in. I guess that's what determines if that's a good job or not, man, is what are you going to have to deal with when it comes to Lamar Jackson, man?
Yeah. Well, as we talked about, two of the openings out there, Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens organizations, they've had 3 coaches each in their history of their teams. So whoever they're going to hire, they're looking that this person's going to be there for the next 10, 15 plus seasons. So they're not going to rush anything. They're going to find the right guy because that's what these organizations do. They usually go out and find the right guy to lead them, and it's a proven track record with these. So I just wonder. Go ahead, bud.
I love the fact that Signetti came out and said, shot the shit down and said, look, I'm not an NFL guy. I'm a college guy. There's no point in you guys even coming calling. So
I like that too. Because I want to see Signetti stay in Bloomington. Like, do your thing there. What you've done is amazing. And they are going to build a statue of him out there. But like, stay there, do your thing there. I think that the way that he builds his teams is NFL. It's how the NFL does, but I want to see him stay there. I really do. So,
well, I mean, let's try to think. What's with Saleh being gone now? What's some of the coaches out there that's highly touted?
Well,
I'm hearing a lot about the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator. I think his last name's Albrick or something. He's only like 30 or 31 years old, but he's already worked with Darnold and Trevor Lawrence, and both of them have had good seasons. He was with Darnold in Minnesota, and he was with Trevor Lawrence this year, and both the quarterbacks have had good years. So he's starting to gain some steam out there as a coordinator into a head coaching position.
Are some of these guys that got fired, are they leading candidates like a DeBall?
Well, I fully expect that McDermott's going to get a long-term deal with somebody, Arizona maybe, something like that. Will sign McDermott thinking he's going to come in and turn that organization around, and I don't think he will. But
will a Dayball? Will a Pete Carroll? Gannon
They're
from-
saying that Dayball's the name that keeps coming up in Buffalo because him and Josh Allen got such a good relationship.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It's like they could look into the college ranks, but most likely they're probably going to pull somebody from that's an offensive or defensive coordinator. But I do think that a couple more of these former head coaches that got fired are going to get another shot at coaching one of these teams. Like look at Robert Saleh. He got fired last year by the Jets, went back to the 49ers, was their defense coordinator, and now he got another chance in Tennessee. So some of these guys might take a year off. Like I said, I truly believe that Mike Tomlin will take a year off. He'll come back and have a coaching job in 2027.
He'll definitely have a job. He'll definitely have a job, and everything points at him going to broadcasting, as everyone's talked about. Wouldn't it be a shocker though? Wouldn't it be just so crazy if Baltimore out of nowhere just went and threw him a shit ton of money and said, "Come on, coach."
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. He's still under contract with Pittsburgh this year, and Pittsburgh would have to agree to whoever's buying out his contract. See, it's there. I guess there's a clause in his contract that if he retired early or whatever before his contract was up, that the following season he could come back and coach any team he wanted to. He'd basically be released if he sat out for a year.
That settles that then, because Pittsburgh's not going to let him go be in the division.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this, guys. Is nobody's talking about the team that has the number 1 overall draft pick that has some young talent there in Brock Bowers and Genty, and that is the Raiders. Is that not a destination that some of these coaches? I mean, you have the number 1 pick in the draft. You have some proven starters there. You have a Max Crosby there. Like, do you guys
you don't have a good core though, dude. You don't have a good offensive line. You traded away your only good receiver other than Bowers. I mean, the defense isn't good. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that this is going to take more than just Mendoza. And that's why I've seen a couple of ex-Raider players come out and say, even Derek Carr came out and said, do not draft Mendoza, trade those picks and use it to build your team up, man. This team needs a lot more than just Mendoza. You can get a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, but you can get a couple first-round picks out of that pick, man.
All right, well, let me ask you guys this then. Talking about Mendoza going possibly number 1 overall, how do you guys feel like about Mendoza and his NFL career? Like, what are your thoughts? How do you think he's going to be as an NFL quarterback, Bennett?
I think he'll be fine as long as he don't get put into a hurricane situation. Like
hurricane,
right? But I'm not saying that. But if he's in a mess of an organization, I don't think all the maturity in the world is going to be able to help him out. If he's not getting the help from the front office, the coaching staff, from the team, from the players, he's not going to turn out well. We've seen plenty of guys that like they went to places and they turned out and went somewhere else and turned out to be good players. But if you go to the wrong place at the wrong time, I don't give a shit who you are playing quarterback. You're not going to succeed.
Yeah. D'Lo, what is Mendoza's floor? What is the ceiling in the NFL?
I mean, anybody's floor can be, the next worst guy. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be a Jamarcus Russell or anything like that. But I mean, depending on the situation that he goes into, things could get bad real quick. And it could be another David Carr situation where he was a good quarterback coming out of college, but he got his ass kicked so much that he just got shell shocked and was never the same since. But so that could definitely.
In your opinion, is he the best NFL ready quarterback coming out in the draft.
Out. I mean, who else are you comparing him to? That
Carson Beck, Ty Simpson from Alabama. Was it Pavian? Whatever. Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So with Moore deciding to go back to Oregon, that's what I'm asking. Is Mendoza the best? Is he the number one quarterback?
You can throw Moore in there too. He's still the best.
Yeah, you could throw Moore in there and he'd still be the best. I think so. Yeah, I think that he's the best coming out this year, but that's not saying a lot either. This is a weak class, and now, do I believe that he should be the number one overall pick? I don't know, man. I tend to lean on the side of the Raiders do need more than I mean, if somebody wanted to trade up and grab him, I feel like
he'd still be the number one pick. He'd still be the number one pick. They just be trading.
But that's what I'm getting to though. If somebody traded up and spent all those picks on getting him, I think that there's a good chance that a team's going to regret giving up that much to trade up and get him. And we've talked about the Jets doing that. Yeah. And you said the Jets got a lot of picks, but I just don't know if Mendoza's worth multiple first round picks and shit like that. So
I don't know.
I think he is. I really do. I really think
more, not so much of his playing ability, but I look at him as a locker room leader when I talk about
his maturity. That's what I'm saying. His maturity. Like he is not going to give up on you. He's going to do his job. You just got to have support around him. Let me tell you a story. So last year when Caleb Williams was a rookie, there was multiple rumors, whatever, things coming out like during the week for game preparation. Why the game was, the game was set for the next week. There was times where Caleb Williams was in the film room by himself. No offensive coordinator, no head coach, nobody. He was watching film by himself. That is a bad situation to be in. You should not be doing that. If your program is not built around, if Mendoza goes to the Raiders or the Jets, but no one's giving him support and no one's like, hey, this guy's willing to go the extra mile, but I'm worried about the defense or I'm worried about this, you're going to have to figure this out for yourself. That is not good. This guy's going to put in the extra work it needs to be good. But if you don't have a support system, it is not going to matter.
So for the Raiders, I feel like their best scenario is to trade it away because they need help on the offensive line. But so do the Jets. The Jets, even though we've drafted offensive line, there's so many holes in both organizations. But
yeah, but you say that for the Raiders, but the Raiders already got the number one pick. You could still get Mendoza, and what would be more popular, maybe not, because we don't know how this is going to play out. No one ever does with the draft pick, but you go get Mendoza, and then you trade away Crosby, and you get more picks, maybe players too. But you go that route. Like you got to have look. You need a coach, and you need a quarterback to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah, it really depends on who takes over the reins there. Is this going to be a more defensive-minded coach? Is this going to be an offensive-minded coach? Is this going to be a guy that can go both ways? That that has a knowledge that is he more of a head coach and not a coordinator? So I don't know. It's so weird because we still have the combine, we still have all these pro days to go through, and come draft night, will Mendoza still be considered by all these experts as the number one quarterback or the number one overall? Somebody could say Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, best running back that's going to be on the board. Some have him as the best overall player in the draft coming out. But the Raiders don't need a running back. They just drafted one. I guess they could take him. There's questions with the Jets where Hall's going to be a free agent if they don't re-sign him. And so then we have an emptiness in our backfield. We could use somebody like that. But in the end, you need a leader. And the Jets extremely bad need a leader. They already have a head coach. So I would say it's in their best interest to draft Mendoza, just because we followed him all year long, and everything that about him, it screams that's what you want on your organization as a leader and everything else. So, you know what I'm saying? It might be biased because I've watched Indiana play this year, but also I have more knowledge because I've watched so many of their games. I've seen the way this guy acts after every win. Like I said, we've talked about how he always puts his teammates first. That's what you love. You love a guy that's going to be in the film room, that's watching. He wants to get better. So I don't think he's ever going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? He's always going to strive to be better. And I just think that that's what you want as your captain of your team. And let's admit it, that every captain of every team should be their quarterback. So I think he is. I'm not saying he's the best player in the draft because I'm sure there are other spots. Like I said, I think Jeremiah Love is probably he's the best running back. He's probably a better athlete overall, but Mendoza's mind, man, and just the way the character of that person, that's what I would want to draft. Not necessarily the athlete, the character. So well, all right, boys. We've already been on here for over an hour. Is there anything you guys want to add before we jump off here? D'Lo, is there anything you want to talk about?
Nah, man. We football season's pretty much over for us. I mean, we're gonna definitely watch the Super Bowl and things like that, but our teams are eliminated, so football season's pretty much over for us. So we'll be moving to baseball season.
Oh,
so,
yeah. D'Lo's got some ICP playing in the background. I love it. Somebody is commenting on our thing, letting us know that Mendoza won the Heisman. I don't know who this person is, but they're letting us know that Mendoza won the Heisman. Can't win that and not
we
be
know
the best. That's what they said. You can't win that and not be the best. And like I said, I'm not sure who this person is, but he's best.
Well, but that wasn't the question. The question was, is he the best quarterback coming out, like as far as going into the league? There's been many Heisman Trophy winners that, I mean, there's been guys that have won the Heisman that have gotten taken in the 5th and 6th round. You know what I mean? So it just sometimes you're not the best pro prospect, even though you won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Show some love to that person. You keep saying you don't know who they are, but they got a call sign, don't they? They got a name.
It says I'll put it up on the screen there. I have no idea who that is, but there was the comments, and like I said, I think he's the best quarterback in the class. Yes, you know what I'm saying. I don't think
that's Joseph. It's Joseph, man.
Oh shit.
That's our boy Joseph.
Okay, the dude from Germany. All right, hell yeah. Hey, did you guys by chance happen to see that Carson Beck snubbed Mendoza, would not shake his hand after the game last night?
Yeah, I did.
And did you happen to see the fight where the dude threw the punch at the IU guy?
Yeah, I did.
I wouldn't have shook his hand either. I'd have took a swing at him.
Hey, he's the best. They put him up. The interesting thing is that he actually played against these guys like Moore. He played against them twice, Mendoza. He played against Ty Simpson. He played against Carson Beck. So some of these guys who they put on there that they were saying like who's the best quarterback that he's coming out, he's played against them and he outshined them. Now it is a team sport and everything else, but his numbers were better. Like that touchdown where he dove his body in yesterday, that's the guy. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just I think that he's the best quarterback in this draft class. I don't think he's the best athlete in the draft. I think that there is somebody else at a position that you could, you know what I'm saying, that's probably the better athlete. But overall, like I said, his character, that's what I'm talking about. If you draft him, you're drafting him for his character, what he's going to mean to your organization as a whole, not just on the field.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be more than that when you take a guy number 1 overall, man. You got to know this guy can be the cornerstone to my team, and I guess that's my biggest thing is
He's not Peyton
No, he's
Manning.
not
You're not
Peyton.
going to put him like Peyton Manning was different breed. You know what I'm saying? Like you could put Peyton on there and he would make other players better. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not Mendoza is not Peyton. Like you're going to have some talent around him, especially in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? He's
Mendoza's not even Caleb Williams, bro. So
no, but can he be the next Caleb Williams? Can he be?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
he in college he's done good about making comebacks and things like that. But right now, I just don't know, man. It sucks, man, because it's like when a guy goes to an organization this high in the draft, you know they're going to a bad organization, and you know what I'm saying? Can Mendoza step through building a team up around him and come out on the other end and be a good player when it's all said and done? I don't know.
I just feel like though, like you had when Shedeur Sanders, when he was mentioned, you knew that you had, if you drafted him, you had the headache of his father. You know what I'm saying? In that mindset. Yeah. You don't have that with Mendoza. He's going to be positive coming in. He's going to do everything. That's what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain guys that there's baggage. You know what
his mom's got MS. His mom's going to be over on the sideline.
Oh, God damn. I did not know she was in a wheelchair till last night. And then they were telling me, and I was just like, holy shit. You know, but man, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that this dude's going to come in and win Super Bowls or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, overall, when you draft this guy, you're getting a team player. And I think he's going to do all right in the NFL. I really do. But like I said,
see, man.
Early on,
we've thought that with a lot of different players, man, and a lot of guys have come out and been bust, and so
yes, I agree. Well, all right, boys. Anything else you guys want to add before we jump off here?
Nope.
All right, bud. Well, man, let's hope that we'll get back on here soon. We'll do another episode together after this week's games, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the baseball season already. So, any last words, Bennett?
Yeah, I made a comment last week about being is most brilliant when we do these things. And I want to take it back after all those comments just made about Mendoza. No, D'Lo, you're absolutely fucking wrong.
He's gonna be a game manager at best.
Well, okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, as long as you got talent around you.
That's right.
Nick Foles is his ceiling.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that has been another episode of the Worst Case Scenario podcast. We'll see you guys soon. Say bye, guys.
We'll see y'all.
Peace.
Peace.